The Hilux isn't the flagship, but it is carrying a lot of weight for sure.
Explain.
Okay, this is just about what happened. I was driving it this morning, and because of what the Hilux is, you have to drive it in a particular way.
Okay.
So you have to drive it with the acceptance that this thing is big. And I think that is the key statement about the Hilux. It's just massive. The Fortuner itself is big. This is even bigger than the Fortuner. Like the wheelbase is that much longer, and the overall length is that much longer. It's like an additional house at the back. My parking, I've got a picture of that. Everything fits in the parking usually. The Hilux has its chin, nose, face hanging out of the parking like that. It's that big. And I reversed it as close as I dared to the wall at the back. And I had.
That's only to protect the wall from the Hilux. I'm just saying.
So I was driving it, and by the time I got to the expressway, I was driving from Pune to Mumbai. And by the time I got to the expressway, I'd kind of settled into this mood that this, you have to drive with grace, right? You're not hurrying this thing around. It's not that the performance is lacking or anything, but it's that big. You don't. If you went making lane changes in this thing, and somebody's watching you in the rearview mirror, they're gonna think there's an apocalypse coming their way. It's just gonna look that terrifying.
He said apocalypse, not the usual target group for the Hilux.
Yeah. Okay.
We're not supposed to make that joke, so we won't make it again.
So when I got to the expressway, so I was settled into the groove of driving the Hilux, and which was like, okay, you sit around, say you're holding 100, and it's effortless at that speed. And when you get into the fast lane to overtake somebody, and you realize that after that there's another vehicle, you realize everybody's just kind of. And the interesting thing was there were two groups that did this, and that took me by surprise.
Okay.
One was the Innovas, right? And Innovas usually have, they're king of the road, so to speak. The Innovas watch you in the mirrors and they notice you're coming up. I have not flashed nothing. I've just sat at the back, and the first opportunity they get, move over and you go through. Same thing with Fortuners. Fortuners are just like, yeah, okay, fine. But the interesting thing was the cabs. The cabs would pull over. Usually on the expressway, the Desires and the Ertigas and all will just sit there at 80 and not budge. But yet they notice the Hilux coming and everybody just kind of moves over. And I know when we did the Fortuner story, somebody commented saying that, my dad bought the Fortuner, and he said the reason he bought the Fortuner, that's his reason, is I live in India and I don't like to honk. So I thought it was like that made so much sense.
Yeah,
right?
that's why I wouldn't buy a Creta, because I don't like to flash.
Okay. And in this,
And if you have a Hilux, you don't have to flash at the Creta to get it out of the way.
everything moves. Everything moves. It might also be that the car that we are driving is a little bit loud because it's wearing some graphics, and it's also wearing a lot of accessories, but that doesn't matter. But it's a car that gets attention.
Yeah, our car is spectacular because you've got the Citroen Basalt door handles on top of the wheel arches. It's a very well done car, and a roll cage on our car which says this is not a roll cage. This is just a what, decorative accessory.
So all the stuff that he's mentioned, all of it is accessories, right?
Yeah.
From the cladding on the wheel arches to that roll cage, all of it, even the bed liner, all of that is accessories. So the car as stock will not look as loud and will not have as many Hiluxes. But the point is, this car doesn't need any of that because by default, it is a massive car. And I think that, aside from the name, I think that was part of the appeal of these cars.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the size of it and the outlandish image of a pickup truck in our world. And so I would understand a lot of people are drawn to this by default, just as a, hey man, this will be so cool to have. I mean, I'm in that boat for sure.
Yeah.
And the whole curiosity was all the more heightened because we'd just driven the Fortuner a little while back, and it was a refresher about what the Fortuner stood for, and we realized that the Fortuner has moved ahead in so many ways. It's become a nicer car, as it were. It's still a Fortuner, but it's become a more pleasing machine now. It's become smoother, nicer to ride. In terms of the suspension, it's become quieter, more fun, as it were. So
Yeah. So do you know the fundamental difference between the Fortuner and the Hilux?
yeah,
I mean, they share the platform and all that, but you know the fundamental difference? If you upgrade your Fortuner, you get a Legender. The Hilux is just a legend, okay?
Hi, it's me, Karthik, the one who's generally laughing and just going along with Shumi's jokes. You can catch all the jokes on the main channel. That's where they're all there. Right now, this is a bit of the serious conversation, but you can catch all the fun factor on the full video, which is on the MotorInc channel. So head out there and subscribe. And if you want more of these shorter clips, do subscribe to this channel as well.